Welcome back to In the Shadow of Fire, session number 22, entitled Shell Shock. Last session, the group traveled to the middle of an island on the back of a Zaratan, which is a massive sea turtle. They found a pretty massive lake or kind of opening on its back filled with water. They discovered it was seawater. They also discovered that a small pack of Sahagwin shark folk were present at an old ruin, what appears to have been a keep or tower, rather. Um, Defeated the Sahagwin, the priestess of the Sahagwin got away. They then explored the ruins, found that there was an underwater lair, dived beneath. Traps happened, and they returned back up. Cyril was fortunately saved by the rope tied around his waist. He was left blind underneath. Um, but when he gets back to surface, and when my brain, when
Kenji.
well, no, I was going to say when Leaf gets back to the surface, they appear to have acquired. I think the only thing that they acquired is a diamond stone with a silver dragon kind of set ornately atop it. Um, they
And a key.
and a key, a silver key, correct.
What about the sword hilt and the blade?
Those were also acquired, correct. Good call. Um, Kenji sees the situation, does some quick studying of Cyril's eyes, reaches into his bag and pulls out what appears to be a squid tentacle and shoves it down Cyril's mouth.
Oh God.
And yells to you, chew on it! Thinking that you might be not able to hear him. As you do so, you can feel like a very kind of pungent, briny juice extract from the flesh of the cephalopod. And after a fashion, as you're chewing, you can kind of feel like muscles in your eyes start to kind of twitch and tense. And eventually, everyone will watch as Cyril starts kind of tearing up, and a strange kind of ichor kind of starts to come out. As you kind of reach up for it, you feel a hand slap your hand, Cyril, and Kenji starts kind of wiping away at your face. It says, "Don't touch it. You'll just do it again."
Oh wow. Okay. So don't push it. Don't push the black stuff back into your eyes.
Right. And he starts cleaning out your eyes with a towel, and then tosses the towel into the water.
John, can I make a nature check to see if I noticed what the cephalopod was?
Yeah, you can try.
17?
No idea.
Kenji, what is what animal did that come from?
No big deal. He doesn't seem too terribly concerned with wanting to explain his secrets.
Cyril sits down on the ground and just sort of catches his breath and tries to process what happened to him. Sounds really horrible. But if Leaf takes out the items, Cyril might want to do identify as a ritual on them if we have time.
Time's yours. Do what you like.
So the sword, blade, and hilt.
If they're taking time to do that, I'm gonna just kind of scan the perimeter and be on the lookout for any Sahagwin.
Okay. From your current vantage, you are on a small island with kind of a land bridge that connects south to the shore. The lake in question appears to be very sea-like. It has a certain clearness to it. You can almost see all the way to the bottom of the spine, and the spine of the shell. And what you're noticing here is this appears to be a rent, like a large kind of crack in the tortoise shell, or the turtle shell rather. It seems that it cracks outwards and kind of webs away, and it looks like over time these cracks have kind of formed the waterways that exit out from this lake. Yeah. But you'd also see that there's kind of tree growth, and as I mentioned, the trees are weird. On the southern area, nothing seems to be kind of moving about. It does look like a bridge. There might have, or a path might have had a bridge at some point over a large kind of segment of the crack. It does look like there is kind of high. It looks like grass, but as you kind of inspect it more, you realize that there's straight blades of coral, kind of settled in a grass-like pattern. It doesn't look like that's the most safest area to traverse. Anywhere that looks like it would be kind of grassy land. I mean to say this kind of section, like the.
Okay.
Yeah. And you kind of noticed the lower version of this when you were walking across it, when you first kind of came upon the island. So the taller portions look like they've been allowed to kind of grow rampant, whereas the smaller portions looks like they've been trampled down. But it doesn't look like anything maneuvering about. And then the algae marshes around you are kind of gross. But yeah, you cast Identify, you said?
Yes.
Alright, so it would be a total of sword, hilt.
And if we can do the key, that would be cool too.
Key is non-magical. Then diamond stone. The diamond is magical. As is the hilt, and as is the blade. Which do you want to do first?
Let's do the stone.
Okay. The stone is a placeholder stone. A placeholder stone basically is placed in a place by the owner of the stone when they remove something from that place. This is typically done with books, but it can also be done with the contents of chests and treasures. As it is now in your hands, you could attune to it. It does require attunement. But basically, if you, within 1 minute of removing an article from a bookshelf or a treasure chest or another place, set the stone in the place where the object was, so long as that stone remains there, the book can be manipulated. But if the stone is then picked up, the object that you picked up will return back to where the stone was.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and while you have the stone, and the object is where it's supposed to be, it cannot be moved or manipulated. So if you bind to the stone, you do not gain access to the book that was left behind. That is whoever had the stone before. If they reattuned to it, then they could take the book.
Is this only one object that you could place hold?
Yeah.
Got it.
I'll get you the wording on that. It's not terribly important now, but I have an idea of how it works if you try to use it.
Okay.
Sounds like that book was important.
Yeah, I think so.
Con!
The sword hilt identifies as magical, but you can't seem to get a specific trait other than it is magical, but it is broken. And the same would be true of the sword blade. It is not whole, so you are not able to read its...
Got it.
By their powers combined.
So we would have to get some sort of
Magical smith.
magical smith, yeah, basically. An artificer of some sort, right?
I suppose that's a fair assumption.
Where's that Von Dalkin from last campaign?
Kenji would ask you, Cyril and Leaf, is this all you found? Wasn't a shield down there?
And then Cyril would describe the shield and his attempt to hold it and how it was sucked away and seemed to have got pulled into some other dimension or a portal. I don't even know what.
Damn it.
Do you know what it was based on my description?
Yes, it was Rakash's shield. It's a shield that's animated by the owner of it and protects them, even if they're not a warrior type. It would have been very helpful and very profitable to have it. But I understand. Rakash is a wily one. Bound to be plenty more traps, hazards, and the like around. And I do appreciate you trying.
Sure, you must know that we are not the sturdiest party out there, and it was a bit of a risk for us to go. We did the best we could.
Oh, no, of course, I understand. And I do appreciate you coming all the way out here. It's perfectly acceptable. It's fine. The placeholder stone will be sufficient.
So,
Do you
from
hand him
here,
the stone?
So Leaf is holding the stone. Oh no, actually, I'm holding the stone, right? But it was Leaf, so I give it back to Leaf, who was holding it.
You can't see the stupid giant smile on my face.
Who wants to hold this as party treasure?
I think that's Kenji's. Kind of hired us to come here and find some.
Oh, if not, that's fine. If you're planning on bogarting the treasures I come to seek, I suppose we can have a discussion regarding that matter.
Cyril would say to Leaf, well, he did just cure me of a pretty serious condition. I think that the stone is a fair compensation, at least for that.
Your sight is very important, so I would agree. What about how about we keep the hilt and the blade for party treasure?
They're broken. I have no use for them. That's perfectly acceptable. And I assume the key belongs to something on this island. I don't know of many folks who are keen on losing a key that far away and for something outside of this. And if it is something outside of this, I wouldn't know where to begin to look. So perhaps something for you to boggle. He reaches out his hand as if waiting to take the stone.
I'll give it to him.
Okay. Very quickly slaps that into his bag, and couple of other sites to check out. Whichever one you want to head to next.
Well, it seems like there's multiple places to visit to the east, so do we want to stop by that location to the northwest? Just knock it out before we head back.
Can you ping that on the map, Tim? Okay, so that's way up there. And did John just say that traveling through this grassland is dangerous?
It can be. You'd have to kind of whack at it a bit. It's basically, if you're familiar with how coral works, especially sun-dried coral, it's pretty hard material.
Okay.
And they're basically just long, tall blades of coral without much branching.
Got it.
So it's
So
pretty bad.
yeah, so Ulair and Leaf might want to do some bushwhacking in front of us to lead the way, I guess, if that's possible.
I thought you said you. I was thinking Halo. I'm like, how is Halo gonna do this?
No, Ulair
I
and
cut
Leaf.
the biggest of tracks.
Funny thing being is that you would be better at bushwhacking if it's a strength-based maneuver.
Who, Cyril?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have a weapon. I have like a staff.
Lady Alcantara says she's going to fly back to the ship to ensure that they're okay. And she's also going to scout ahead. If she sees anything, she'll return back to inform you that she saw something. But she's hopeful that she'll make it to the island without issue. Or not the island, the boat without issue.
Thank you.
Yep. And then whoosh whoosh flies away.
Well,
Cyril, my friend, I only have a rapier, so bushwhacking is probably not something I'm going to be able to do.
Okay, well, actually, Cyril has a long sword, so I could do that. And yet another weird situation for a wizard to be in.
Okay. So, how do you plan on getting across the lake? Are you going to swim it? Are you going to try and see if the bridge section is something worth checking out? Are you going to teleport?
I would think we'd head down to where the bridge looks like there used to be a bridge to see if there's any way to maybe salvage it. If it looks like it's at all potentially able to do some kind of temporary structure, just to see if that's easier, if it's an easier traversable area.
Okay. So you
Wait a minute. I thought we were going up here, guys.
And we're gonna go down here because it's pretty close.
Yeah.
And then follow that pathing.
Can you walk on water?
I can fly.
I can fly too.
You can fly on surfaces.
I can cast fly, but that's just myself.
Yeah.
I can cast fly. Hey, Tim, can you cast fly?
Would the surface of water not count as a surface?
Yeah, on surfaces.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't.
So Ulair would have to swim.
Yes.
Wait, can Cyril cast it twice? Because I can only cast it once.
I could only cast it once because I used that spell slot for Fireball with the encounter. So I only have one of those spell slots left.
I'm pretty sure it applies concentration anyway.
If you have limited resources, I would suggest that maybe you hold on to it. Maybe
I agree.
Because it might be more useful to be able to do something to fight if we get into another one. With that though, shall we be on our way? Be on the lookout for that Hagen that got away?
Yep.
So we head south and I guess start swimming across if we can't be.
Once you make it to where a bridge is presumed, you can see that there are kind of broken stones kind of throughout the water. It does look like in some parts it's kind of less deep than you would presume it to be. And out kind of in the middle, in between the two, you can see what looks like a column or what would have been a support structure for a arch bridge that might have gone over this area here. Sitting atop it, in a way that would have been obscured from the island, there does appear to be a creature kind of looking over in your direction. The creature is thin and kind of a pale, sickly green. It has very kind of long legs, which are currently in the lotus position, kind of sitting, and long arms, which are just kind of idly playing with stones in his hands. His fingers are also very long. You can tell he's a he because he's not wearing anything and seems to be, presenting kind of a male sex organ. He looks in your direction
Schmeagol.
and says, "You wish to cross," it says in the common tongue.
Cyril says, "What is the toll?"
One that is wise. Much better than the one with many teeth. It says as it points over kind of off to the side, and you can see one of the rocks has a dashed Sahuagin's head and body kind of like slumped against it. Anything that you wish to offer me can be the toll to cross. Let me see what it is that you wish to give to me.
Tim.
Well, if you have a penchant for things that are shiny, I can offer you this as I pull out the platinum flask that I pilfered oh so long ago. You can use it to store all sorts of...
The creature is about 20 or 30 feet out, or 30 or 40 feet out, jumps off of the support structure, hits the water with an a strange kind of weird grace. You see it kind of go underneath and can see it underneath, and then like pop up and kind of land next to Ulair and this kind of like weird bouncy kind of and reach out to me.
I offer it to the creature.
Is it empty?
I never checked.
And you
When
stole it
But
from
I
where?
stole it from where El Contra lives.
Oh, right. So there's some content in it, and you see it kind of open the flask and kind of look inside. Pours out a little bit. It's strange, kind of. Takes a sip. Okay. Screws the flask and kind of like holds it off to the side. Says a strange word in a language you're not familiar with, and you're not sure you could replicate with your mouth face. And kind of waves his hand in the direction of where the bridge is, and you watch as all the stones come up out of the water and kind of slam into place over the course of about 30 seconds, and a slightly damp but functional bridge appears before you. Enjoy.
Thank
you,
Pleasure doing
Bridgekeeper.
business.
Mm-hmm. As you all pass, simple enough. You get to the other side, and then you watch as the bridge is kind of back into the water.
We might have to have another gift for the way back.
You would also notice that by this time it looks like he is
Imbibing.
still drinking the flask, and then kind of runs out and kind of looks annoyed.
More.
Alright. Immediately upon crossing, you come to the weird, kind of strange trees. You can see that there's a path fork, one path leading north and one path leading south.
When we were circling around the island, we didn't notice anything to the south, right?
According to the map, there may have been a port there at some point, but it didn't appear that way when you did your circumdive.
Okay. North it is then.
Alright. Alright, as you head up, you can see that up ahead the path kind of leads into the strange blade-like coral, and then kind of just stops. The thing you're noticing about the blade-like coral, now that you're looking at it closer, is there does appear to be things kind of moving around inside of it, kind of floating around, kind of flying in between the blades. As you kind of try and ferret out what those things are, you can see that there appear to be kind of scintillating scale-like colors kind of moving throughout, and these small creatures that you're seeing in the sunlight appear to be fish, but instead of just normal fins and kind of tails, they seem to have kind of a bit more feather-like appendages, and are kind of moving and swimming through the air, and kind of weaving in and out of this blade-like coral structure.
Do I recognize those creatures at all?
They look like fish, but very pretty fish.
Okay.
So I would say be careful. They might be sharp if they live amongst the coral.
It would be an Arcana check to determine what these specific fish are.
May I?
I'm not trained.
You can.
22.
May I?
Yeah, also Bard, go. You're not sure, but you do know that they are fey in nature. They shouldn't be on the material plane.
Okay.
They're fey fish. Fey fish and Foo Fighters.
They look like featherfish to me.
Fey fish and Foo Fighters. Alternate name for the session. But yeah, it does look like the blades would be harsh. The fish don't look like they would be much harm.
I proceed and just attempt to, with my shield, kind of like bash at.
Easy enough. Breaks like it shatters into pieces. You can see a bunch of the pieces kind of slamming, about as you just kind of give it a gentle kind of dock, and you would note that the strange fish kind of swarm away from you, moving on to the grass and disappearing into it.
Alright, it seems like they be timid beasts. Timid fey creatures that they are. Let's keep going then, and then I'll just sort of to disturb as little as possible, start creating a path.
Okay.
Just for a single file path for us.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check, Olair.
21.
As you're kind of moving about, you can see up ahead that there's a weird distortion kind of in the coral. And it looks like some of the swarms are kind of moving around that. But as you're kind of looking at it, it seems that you're kind of looking at some sort of magical effect. Some sort of illusion spell that seems to just be showing the coral as normal as you're kind of moving out.
I hold up my hand and say, Cyril, I noticed some form of illusion up ahead. Do you think you might be able to pierce its veil?
I will
Or
investigate.
get a better read of it?
Yeah.
I'd be careful not to get too close, but...
He rubs his eyes a little bit. He feels a little strange feeling in his eye, and he's gonna peer ahead.
Okay. If you're just looking normal, it's some sort of illusion spell. It's crudely done, similar to kind of a projected image, or not projected image. I'm thinking silent image.
If I were to use magics to see if I can see beyond it.
There's no. You can use a spell to try and pierce it. You could dispel it if it's a spell effect. But there's
Yeah.
Does it look at all... Oh, wait, who was it that saw the priest run away? Was that you, Andy? Cyril? Did Cyril see the Sahagwin priest run away?
I don't recall.
Anyway, it was either Leaf, Cyril, or I think Alvin. It was Alvin we're out of luck. I thought I had as if it looked similar to what it looked like when the priest disappeared. But I don't have a frame of reference visually for that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's probably about 10 feet wide, 10 feet tall, and it looks like the area around it, but with your perception check, it looks noticeably like it's just duplicating the 10 feet to the left of it.
Mm-hmm. I instead of going straight, I cut left.
Okay.
To try and avoid it and circumnavigate it.
Sure. As you kind of circumnavigate it, you can kind of see the back end of it, and it looks identical to the front. It's kind of a flat sheet, and it seems to be up against what appears to be a iron kind of like road marker. And you're pretty sure if you had been swinging your weapon normally and not spotted it, you would have bashed into it, and it would have given you kind of a bit of a start. As you kind of move around and see that, you can see the fish kind of move away, and the illusion dissipates.
Oh. So I circle back to see what they were covering up.
Yeah, it's just an iron post. It doesn't appear to have any wooden markers on it, but it does look like it has placement for where wooden markers would have been. Yeah, it's kind of like a road marker.
Alright. Seems like caution saved us.
Yeah.
At least me, some pain in my arm. But let's keep going.
What might it have been marking?
Okay, at this point, if you're continuing on, you would see that it looks like there is a stream up ahead. It seems to be flowing towards the back end. It seems to be flowing out of the lake. And I know in the original intent of the map it was actually flowing inland, but that's fine. I like changing things. That said, you can see that there are a number of eels or serpents moving through and seem to be heading out. But it's quite, it's just like one and then maybe two or three wait a couple of 30 or 40 more seconds, a couple more pass through. It's not like a rush of them, but it's definitely a steady amount of eels that seem to be moving out of the lake and out into whatever pathway they're heading off into.
Ulair, what kind of creature would potentially hunt them? Would you know?
I mean, anything bigger than that is predatory. Zahagan probably eat them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had a fishing pole with me, I'd try to catch one myself. To get us some fresh meat, depending on how long we're here.
Mm-hmm.
My friends, these are the famous shrieking eels of the Zaratan.
Leave. Master of copyright. The eels are not shrieking, but they do.
Just wait. They shriek more and more as they get closer, ready to pounce.
They do appear decently thick. They look like they would provide sustenance as stated if you wanted to catch a couple.
Oh, I'll try and do some crossbow hunting.
Okay. For sanity's sake, how much time are you wanting to spend doing that?
We'll say no more than 5 minutes. We're just gonna see how successful I am.
Then just make one attack. You probably would have only gotten
26.
You managed to lance one and rush down the stream a bit and catch it before it gets too far out of field, pulling it out as it kind of bobs in the water and dragging it up onto shore.
Nice. And so, in relation to me, how big is it?
I mean, it's probably about that thick, and probably about 2.5, 3 feet long.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not shrieking eel size. They're like real eel size.
Yeah. Actually.
Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have fresh meat and I'll share it with Kenji, and whoever else if there's enough after that. But
Kenji goes, unagi, and will reach into his pouch. Do you want me to handle it? And pulls out a knife.
Certainly.
Lops his head off. You see him very deftly, just as he's walking, holding the tail one hand, deftly debone the thing, toss that aside, and takes the 2 slabs of meat and kind of hands those back to you, de-gutted and deboned very quickly.
Would you prefer to eat this as is, or try to give her a light fire?
I'll see if I've got any salt. It would be fine either way, whichever you prefer. He pulls out a small little bag and starts kind of rubbing salt into the meat of the flesh.
Keyword's handy spice pouch.
He closes them together and kind of does a quick kind of rub of the 2 together and says, "Do you want me to hold on to them until we get to a fire?"
Yeah, I'm not too hungry just yet.
Tosses them into the bag.
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we be on our way?
Crossing the stream. So it's it looks
I
like.
can hear you, Dan.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Barely.
Now I can.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, they kept me at work because some guy was trying
Stop
to
for a
climb out of the
second.
bed.
Stop. Just message in the stream or message in the Discord. Don't get out of the video voice. We're streaming.
Well, I'm gonna listen.
Okay, that's fine. No, don't message shit like that in the voice channel.
Inconceivable.
Just message it in the Discord, please. Thank you.
I didn't know Fayfish could talk.
Yeah, weird. Anywho, that said, crossing the stream, it looks like it's pretty deep, maybe 10, 12 feet. So it would have to be traversed by swimming. It's only about 10 feet or 15 feet long, so you could try to jump it. If you have a 15 strength, you can jump it, no problem.
I will try to jump it. I have a 14 strength.
You can make an athletics check.
Okay. I'm going to use. Let me think about this. Okay, I'm just gonna jump. What? 14.
You hit the water. It can kind of feel like you hitting the side of the canal, this stream channel. It's hard. It's kind of rough. Kind of bangs up your leg a little bit, but not like anything. Oh, just kind of one of those, zingers on the knee, cat, and you kind of pull yourself out. The lower half of you, kind of from the waist down, is damp.
Okay. So if someone throws me across some rope, I could hold it and make it easier for others to.
Pulling out of my bag.
I can also fly it across, so we don't have to throw it.
No checks involved there.
Wait, as the bard of the group, what I say is, I think what we need to do is make this a competition, and I will also try to jump, and then our buddy Uller can jump, and we will see who will get the best jump. What do you say?
I bet I could jump the farthest. I barely
Bet
touched
you
the
can.
ground.
I did not say Elo, because Elo, you can fly. It is not.
You're not up for the challenge. That's what I heard.
As you're all talking, you just watch as Kenji walks across the stream and stands next to Cyril.
Does he have special boots on?
You would have been the only one watching him. He would have taken off his sandals that he's been walking around in, put those into his bag, pulled out a pair of slippers, put them on, and then walked across.
Got it. Those are very convenient, Kenji.
Yeah, it's nice to have things.
Watch and learn, my friend. I take a running jump.
That is
Beautiful.
the best thing so far.
And
So-
also,
so-
I do a spectacular fail.
If you're not Kevin just rolled 2 1s, 2 natural ones. Let me explain how this works.
I was going to give him my 5 for divination, just to mess around with him, but this is worse.
Way more fun.
No. It is better. Because if you are going to fail, you should fail spectacularly.
So you watch as he kind of gets a head start, runs up, slips, starts skating across the ground, which was a lot harder towards the front, as I mentioned. Again, you're not running on kind of just muck, it's underneath a bit of tortoise shell kind of material. Slips, face first like a rocket, flies across, seems to kind of skip across the water for about 3 or 4 feet before just in. And then you watch as a bunch of eels kind of are swarming around him. Kevin, make a wisdom saving throw.
I pop up out of the water and I say, "Do not go in there."
14.
That's better. I got a
It's
4.
good enough. You do not get the heebie-jeebies as you have the swarm of eels fluttering about you. You manage to brush them off, and you manage to kind of get your grounding. The stream is not going too fast, so you're able to kind of maneuver to the other shore, and I'm assuming with Cyril's help, pull yourself out of the water.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cyril, but I do not think that I needed that help. Look how good I did.
Wonderful, my friend. Just wonderful. Cyril's chuckling.
I take some bath.
You are completely soaked. And there might be a good gag for an eel being pulled out of a random piece of clothing at a later point. So Zach, Halo can just fly across. Larry, you were...
Halo, carry my stuff across.
I can carry probably most of it if I shrink it down. Yeah.
Alright, I strip down naked, put everything in my bag, let Halo shrink it down to carry it, and then I just swim across. Well, I'll for the sake of contest, I will jump. But at least now my stuff is dry.
Yeah, if your timing was more perfect, you could have just rode Leaf across like a surfboard.
Skim.
But yeah, that said,
I got a 9.
Okay. Yeah, splash, sploosh. You are in the water. Made it only about halfway.
Start smacking eels away if they try to go for the.
Now they seem to be kind of scared and have already maneuvered away from the louder clash. Um, the water's not terribly harsh. You're able to get across without much effort, and with again Leaf, Cyril's help, you're able to pull yourself on shore.
Nice. I then get dressed again, so that I'm clothed and protected.
Look, Uller, my friend. I caught as many eels as you did. Actually, I think maybe one more. I pull a couple out of my clothes.
Perfect. And
So
yeah.
really, I won the fishing contest.
That you did, friend. That you did. One of the ones he pulls out, I take my dagger and like, imitating the technique I saw Kenji use, try to just lop off its head real fast, just to kill it, and then say, Kenji, it looks like we'll have more to eat later.
Oh, great. He grins as you see him slip out the slippers, shove them back in the bag, and pull out sandals and put them back on.
Well, I think now that we've crossed this, we might be able to follow the river for a bit. Have a slightly easier go of it. Because is there like some kind of embankment along the edge?
Yeah, and that's open from the kind of waterway. It is probably not a great idea to go running around for slipping purposes, but yeah, it's something you could follow. You could follow the water and not have to cut your way through the
Okay.
coral anymore.
Yeah, that's what I was just doing, kind of limiting the footprint we leave behind as much as possible.
Acceptable. Okay, so you follow the stream. You would kind of cross over to the next stream and then wind it up, as I see it, and make your way up north. On the opposite side of the waterway, you see what appears to be another kind of forest patch. This one's a bit different, though. It looks like the... no, it'd be this one here.
Okay, yeah, okay. Cool.
So you would see that the trees here, instead of kind of having just the normal kind of canopy, it seems like they all kind of have straight kind of pointing up kind of canopies. And it seems that the middle kind of has like at that point, has like a large bulb and a massive kind of, almost like a flower's kind of innards coming out of the top of it. Very strange to be sure. But you do see that above that forest area and kind of around it, there's kind of a very faint kind of pinkish cloud around it.
Curious what that could be.
Yeah, it's definitely not something Ulaire's seen.
Would Cyril know if it has a magical nature?
It is definitely fey in nature, but I'm gonna say that based on, this is gonna be a really high DC if you want to make an Arcana check.
I will try.
You'd have to have been there for it to be a bit more common a roll, but
Got it.
Will there be any like bardic?
28.
okay.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You got.
Okay, so you would know that the blossoms there are quite massive for what is normally known as nymph's bloom. The reason why it's called that is because it has a very alluring pollen. The pollen causes anyone to kind of breathe it in, to kind of enter a euphoric kind of state, and genuinely not really want to do anything besides continue to imbibe the pollen. If someone had a constant source of the pollen, it would be very difficult for that individual to be removed from that placement.
Okay, so I would say be careful not to breathe in too much of the pollen. And I guess I'd want to know, like, why. So we're elves, right? So wouldn't we have a connection to the Fae? We would think it's strange that the fish and these flowers are in this particular spot.
Yeah, because they're in the material plane.
Right. And but we don't know why that might be. Any potential reasons why? Based on her elvish background?
I mean, anything that you can deduce, but it appears that this creature seems to have gathered on its back at least that element, that portion of a different plane.
So I guess part of what I'm asking is it possible for the Zaratan to travel at least partially into the Feywild?
Don't know.
Okay, that's kind of what I'm wondering.
Something to think about. As you continue on.
I actually had a quick question. Do I think I might be able to fashion some kind of like temporary makeshift mask of sort to try and filter out some of the pollen, so I might be able to harvest some?
That's a perfect idea. I think everyone should wear a mask when they go outside.
No, we don't want this to invade our freaking fantasy. No. I call red for it now.
But yeah, no, not a problem. Easy enough.
Alright. I would like to fashion a mask and harvest some of this pollen to possibly help us later on.
Okay, so even with the makeshift mask, you will still need to make a saving throw against the pollen. It does not block it entirely, because you still have to breathe. You can go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw. You have advantage for it.
Oh, guys, this could still end terribly. 20.
Very nice.
Successful. You try to harvest it, and what you very quickly realize is that upon the touch, this pollen seems to kind of like, as you're kind of contacting it, it seems to kind of melt. It's very saccharine. And as you're kind of putting the contents in, you can tell that it not being in the air and it not being imbibed seems to have immediately changed the nature of what you're kind of messing with. I guess the best way I can kind of describe, like the best analogy or real life equivalent I can kind of give to it would be like cotton candy. So it's very kind of fluffy material, and when you kind of get a hold of it and kind of it bunches, it becomes a bit more solid, and some would say less tasty, but I mean, I don't think there's a difference. It's all just fluffy sugar. Anyways, the point of the matter is it does change in nature when you put it in the bag.
Okay.
And you hop on back over.
Cool.
Yep.
Add one
bag of
nymphs
bloom pollen.
Nymphs bloom.
You continue on. Up ahead, you can see that there is a series of these trees, the trees that you've seen before, the very simple trees. And it looks like farther up ahead, there looks like there's a kind of tripartite sectioning. The stream that you're currently on is flowing out, so it's flowing out into the world. You would see that the trees here are as normal. The water, however, where the three kind of forks meet, seems to be very strange. There's a massive maelstrom kind of in the center, kind of spinning and churning the water, and it seems like it's created kind of like a downward effect where there's kind of an empty socket of air there. In the center of that socket of air, there's a small mote of fire just spinning, burning. And it looks like inside of the water you can see bits of earth as well kind of churning throughout, and mud kind of entering into the flurry and kind of sifting out. Looks like it's mostly pushing the silt north, directly north, but it looks like it's mostly coming from the silt rather is mostly coming from the west. And the eels that are unfortunate enough to kind of get close to this, some of them get pulled into it, but then kind of get pushed down. Some of them kind of float off unconscious, being kind of knocked about. Some of them make their way out and are fine. Yes, and there's a small glowing man with a big bright blue arrow on his head. No.
You can't blame me for thinking it.
But close, yeah. Except the fire would be where the boy is, and yeah.
And the boy would be where the fire is.
There's no boy.
Just chunks of man meat spinning in a circle.
Fair, I guess. It's eels, but whatever. Anyways, you definitely will have to cross one way or the other. It doesn't look like the middle section would be a great path. It looks like the water that's going directly north is the most strong current. And at your current position, if you were going to try and cross any other path, you would have to cross over both other paths instead, because you're on the northern side of the stream, northeastern side of the stream.
Right. Either we cross south of it and cross twice, or we go past it and cross once, but we have to deal with stronger current.
Right.
I think I can jump over that.
Are you okay, Leif? You've just been sounding a little off ever since you went underwater.
That is true. Somebody told me that French accent is more froggy, so being more authentic.
Whoa.
But
No, cool.
I think I can
As a Frenchman, unacceptable. No. I'm gonna quash that right here. No.
Oui, oui.
Oh, I can't believe you said froggy.
Wait, I'm a fantasy Frenchman. They're totally different.
Oh no, yeah, sure. Use the stereotype. Sounds the same to me. Anyways, how would you like to traverse the trisection here?
I would recommend the be cautious and safe. We just crossed twice. Take
Agreed.
your path. I'll go ahead. Now, is this like same kind of deal? Like we're probably gonna get wet, like unless we can somehow magically jump across it. Otherwise, like we can't. It's not like it's wide. It's the same width.
It's a little wider on the one that's the most calm. These paths, yeah, it's identical. It would be 2 jumps at about the same kind of distance.
I strip naked again and swim across and let Halo carry my bag over. Halo, if you'd be so kind. After I'm done stripped, and then I dive in and swim across.
Yeah, it's calm enough that you don't have to worry about rolling checks, and then you hop across the other one, swim across, no problem.
Yep.
And I don't put my clothes back on this time. That's a terrible idea. It's gonna go terribly, but I'm not going to because we're gonna cross again real soon.
Sure. And everybody's just kind of dipping into the water and swimming the safe way, right?
Yep.
Okay. You get across?
No. I am already wet, so I am going to jump again.
Oh no, it's fine. If you're jumping over the not churning silt water, you're fine. So it's okay. I don't need to roll.
I need to roll because I may do really good, and then everybody can eat my short.
It's okay. No one's competing here. It's fine. We move along.
As you jump across, you see my bare bottom walking away from you.
Nice.
Then I am going to say I run really far and I jump and I just barely make it. And then I say, aha, you should roll, not swim. We are humans. We are not fish.
We're not humans. We're elves. There's only one human, and he's succeeding on all of his checks. By the way, he's doing great. He hasn't gotten wet at all. He's
Nice.
a dapper Dan.
Yep.
That said, the trees up ahead, are you going to go through them to breach them, or are you going to go continue following the stream?
Being as I am naked, I will continue to follow the stream so as not to potentially...
Okay.
So I have more visibility and less likely to run into something where I then have to fight naked.
The first thing you see when you exit out of the kind of wooded area, the weird heavy trees here, is directly north of you. There appears to be one of those strange calcified kind of stone caps that's smoking. White smoke kind of blossoming up from it. And the water, the stream, continues on past that point. Nothing else that you can really see that's of note.
So the map that we had before coming here said there might have been a fort around here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't see any signs of that.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I don't see any signs of the old fort. Should we continue on and see if there might be access somewhere around there, or just turn back now? Kenji, what would you like to do?
I leave it to you. I don't know what those strange structures are. We could investigate that. I believe when we first passed around, there was a larger mountainous structure, kind of on the peninsula up and a ways. We could check that out, or we can head back. I am at your. Um, I am whatever you would like to do, Monster
I
Hunter.
am here to satisfy your curiosity.
Well, I definitely do not want you to overexert yourself, as it did seem swimming down into the hole was a bit of a labor. I don't want to push you beyond what you feel comfortable doing.
Let's check out these smoking mountains and see. They might lend themselves towards something below.
You should probably put some clothes on.
Have we already crossed over the second crossing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then.
It would have been immediate after. It would have been boop,
Okay.
boop. Yeah, you would have been. So you'd actually you do have movement on your token, but you'd probably be closer to here.
Okay. Yes, good. I like that idea, and I get dressed.
Perfect.
So let's head up to the north one first, then. It's closer, and I don't know, makes possible sense that there might be something there, and then we can check we'll cut through the forest too on our way over to the one on the peninsula to see if there's any potential access ways in there.
Okay. As you kind of approach, you can see that there's a bit of a sink into the ground just in front of the massive kind of smoking mountain. And specifically, I'm hold on. I want to make sure I'm clearly defining what's happening here. So right about here-ish, there's kind of a dip in the earth where it looks like there's kind of a series of these kind of strange hills kind of in the shadow of that bigger mountainous smoking thing. There appears to be kind of a divot, a ditch that looks like it might have some size to it. And if you move towards that section, you would see that inside of the divot there appears to be a structure just kind of sitting in the bowl of it. It looks like it is, from your position, some sort of building. And it looks like there's quite a bit of the structure that remains. From the vantage point that you're kind of moving towards it at, you can see that there does appear to be an old path, a couple of broken statues that seem to have fared rather well, and it looks like a small little graveyard out in front of the building.
Well, I don't like the sound of graveyards, but I'll take lead and sort of spot it out a bit. If you want to follow behind, and I'll kind of like break off, just try and stay at least, I don't know, 40 feet ahead or so. Just kind of like moving about, trying to be quiet, trying to be on the lookout for anything that looks like trappy, whether there's odd shapes of the ground where like it might be like a pitfall, any like, you know, string or rope that might be like lying about ready to either break or snag.
Sure. What you will note is that Kenji kind of goes, "Oh, something to explore. I'll wait up here." And at that point, too, I will say that because I'm not going to make decisions for his character, Alvin would decide to remain with Genji just to keep him safe.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. See if you could see if there are there gravestones. Did we see if there's gravestones in the graveyard? Cool,
Okay.
Dan. Join us. Do
Then
you know
you'll
if
go down
there's
that side.
are there gravestones?
Yes, and it looks like a crypt or a lich gate kind of around it, which would be like a wall that kind of fences in a small. Here, hold on a second.
Okay. See if you can make out any writing on the stones when you're down there, Uller.
Cyril, would you like me to play a somber song to get everybody in the mood for a cemetery?
Will it make me sad, or would it inspire me to be my best?
That depends on how loud I play it.
Well, okay.
Not gonna lie, the new accent's really throwing me off.
Yeah, I'm kind of workshopping it here.
You know, these things take time. They evolve, right?
Yeah, well, I was told by somebody who speaks French that my French was not froggy enough, so I need to make it more froggy.
Don't stop. That's not cool. I'm not joking.
You're muted, John.
Stop. That's not cool. I'm not joking. Stop saying that damn term.
I am watching a really interesting. Well, I'll talk about this later. Cool Netflix show that's in French, and it's really, really hard to follow because they speak so quickly.
Fair enough.
Fascinating, though.
That said, Blair, yes, there is gravestones. There are statues. There does appear to be a massive door that is currently sealed. Looks like walls of the building are kind of broken out, and the more you look at it, the more you think that it is actually a temple rather than a fort.
Is there a keyhole on that door?
There is not.
Damn.
The door appears to be kind of weathered down to kind of just a rough stone facade. It doesn't look like much of the ornate nature has remained on that door specific.
I just want to do a once over around the perimeter. See if there's what I can see. Oh, like the door and the walls aren't there anymore.
Right.
Oh.
The ceiling still is, except in the north corner, which you can see up ahead, there's a column that's kind of fallen out. And it seems to be one of the only remnants that maintained any semblance of dampness. It looks like, for the most part, this temple complex doesn't really have much signs that it's been submerged for however long it's been. And if Kenji was accurate, this thing has been out in the sun to some varying degree for the better part of a month. So it seems the warm climate has done it some good. Do you wish to advance in and inspect? And if so, do you wish to do so stealthily?
Stealthily and slowly, kind of like being careful on the ground to this point now, trying to be mindful if there might be pressure plates or whatnot.
Sure. Okay, so
Stealth roll?
yeah, what's your passive perception?
14.
Okay, cool.
Stealth 26.
Okay, so you move in. You can see that there are a number of columns. It looks like there's a door on the left side there from this antechamber. You kind of are looking around and can see that the floor has maintained a pretty decent amount of its detail. Looks like a kind of ornate kind of design. Definitely elvish, you think, in nature, but certainly not anything that you're familiar with. You can also see that there appears to be a bit of cloth and wood that has seemed to have survived for some reason, somehow. And what you're noticing is that the room to the right, the massive chamber there, appears to have kind of a a strange aura to it. The best way I can describe it is you're kind of looking through like a color filter. It seems to kind of change the color's tone beyond those two pillars that are farthest from you. It seems that main chamber kind of has a different kind of ambiance to it.
I just think to myself that I'll have to have Cyril or Halo take a look at that. I'll come over to this door and I'll just I'll check it for traps.
Oh, sorry, that's not the door. That's just a small little area where some sort of holy items would have been placed, and it doesn't seem that they're remnant there. The door's one more step up, and you'll see through it, and it's just a mess of old waterlogged wood. That's dry, but it's still, you can tell that it's warped by water.
Yeah.
The doors that are kind of set in that chamber as well, they look like they are still are pretty much locked in place because of the waterlogging.
And so there's no are there other doors in here, or are those like little alcove things again?
Those are little doors, so one on the north, one on the south. They are the ones that I just mentioned that are swollen shut.
Oh, swollen shut. Okay. Alright. Cool. I will come back and check over here.
Yeah, just an old outdoor area that appears to have had similar kind of it's the doors are wood that's very old and very waterlogged and very swollen in their frames.
Okay. Alright. I'll head back and say, it looks, I didn't enter into the main chamber because it seemed to have some sort of glimmer to the light there. A filter of sorts, and not necessarily being the most magically apt. I thought it might be best if, Cyril, if either you or Halo or Leaf might be able to get a better reading on what it might be before we cross the path. There's also some doors that are swollen shut that, if we want to disturb this place, we might be able to hew to pieces to the inside, but I felt best not to that much of a ruckus on my own.
You see Kenji kind of scratching his head, and he says, "Yeah, but the old notes said it was a fort. It doesn't even look like a fort. It looks like some sort of temple."
Aye, that's what it looks like to me too.
Yeah, I'd be wary. Nods his head. But if my understanding is correct, I believe that a treasure here might be worth acquiring, known as the Fang of Venkar. Investigate cautiously.
Can you tell us more about this treasure?
It belonged to a great dragon.
What properties does it have?
I do not know. I simply know that it was an item that was acquired by the Chronomancer Rakash and stored here on his island.
I see.
Bardic stories tell of the Great Necromancer Venkar.
Well, actually, he's actually contemporary. You would know of Venkar. Venkar is one of the favored ones. So it's very strange that there's a very ancient burial site that seems to have a Fang of Venkar present. Although Chronomancer being used in any of these equations obviously would make for strange nature, confusion as to when and where an item was acquired. That said, though, those of you who are savvy and have history trained, Venkar is one of the great favored ones, a necromancer who is one of the grand mages of the northeasternmost isle of the Dragon Isles. He's not a dragon, he's a dragonborn.
Cool. Well, I think I was right to be aware of that graveyard for dealing with the necromancer's item. Shall we proceed? Cautiously?
Cautiously?
as you were discussing Venkar, if that was spoken out loud, you would know that Kenji was very interested. And then you see him as you're all kind of piling away from him, taking notes. And then once you get far enough away, you see him pull out the cloak, put it on, disappear. But, yeah, you move up. You can see the map as you can see the map. Yeah, the door looks to be kind of like one slatted sheet of just stone, kind of in a almost like window-like frame. Yeah, you continue on to the western side there and enter in. Leaf,
Didn't want to go there.
you immediately realize the folly of that being presumed as a door outside. It's not a door. You're pretty sure it's calcification that's solidified over a glass pane. And you're pretty sure, looking straight across the way, you can see similar glass panes as well, a bit higher up on the far side of where you're looking, this portion of the chapel. The actual entryway would have been here and here, and understanding a bit about churches, the clergy folk would have been here, and the groundskeepers would have been outside.
Well, I guess we should check.
Uller, what have you checked in here so far?
I've just noticed the 2 waterlogged doors in the clerical chambers, as you put it, and the shimmer, the kind of the refraction of light heading into the sanctuary proper. So I avoided that just to, in case I might set off some from a trap.
Would I think that's magical, or is that just light going through
Well,
panes of
you would definitely understand that light's not coming in through panes of glass, because outside it's a complete solid sheet of like stone. Like hard water kind of over time will kind of create like a calcification. I think that's the right term. But it's basically formed a stone sheet over the front of the glass pane. So there's no light coming in from the windows, but at the same time, that place is perfectly lit as if it were being lit by the windows. The light in the main temple there appears to be different. If you're familiar with like filters on photography, it looks like it's kind of like a more pastel, kind of more toned down, more muted color kind of filter that seems to be over the light in that area. And like I said, if you want to make an Arcana check to try and understand what that might mean, you can certainly do so.
May I do so as well?
Yep.
Okay, so
Cyril, not much of a traveler, still kind of confused about it. Oh, hold on.
I'm guessing we lost still. Not a leaf, but Halo.
Oh, what?
I can't hear anybody at the moment. Well, wait, I could hear you.
you there, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I think when Dan jumped on, the sound got weird for me.
Anyways, he's in the thing now. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, right. Leaf being a bit more traveled, a bit more understanding of the nature of planes, would note that seems to be a shift, a gateway into another plane, the plane in question, based on the muting and distortion of life, appears to be the plane of shadow.
It's a good thing I didn't walk in.
Yeah, I would explain that to Uller and Cyril then.
So that's not the Fae. That's a different plane altogether.
That would be correct.
Okay.
Though one would think that what better place to store an item of power than in another plane.
It doesn't seem like it's so much another plane. It seems like a section of the plane of shadow, or a portion of the material plane has been augmented to represent the normalcy of the plane of shadow, similar in kind to other positions you've seen so far in this place for other planes.
Like the Fae and... Halo, what significance would there be with Temple getting represented by Shadow? Is Zach there? I thought I heard.
I don't know.
There are gods of every sort of plane. So it just could not just be a god of a plane. But like, what does Halo think?
He might have dozed off.
Yeah, he might have.
It's fine.
All right.
Maybe.
But yeah, do you want to advance? It is a descent, kind of. The steps are not a massive change of. Actually, it's sorry, unascent is the word I was looking for, not descent. That kind of rises up to the temple section. But it's not a massive change. It's not a huge gradient. It's not like you're going uphill. It's kind of like ornate steps more than anything else.
Yeah, I'll take point.
Okay.
Enter the Shadow Realm.
As you pass through the two columns, you kind of feel this chill kind of run over your body, but it doesn't do anything besides just make you feel slightly uncomfortable.
Okay.
You can see now that the pane of glass on the opposite side of the calcification seems to be emitting light, as if light were passing through it normally. You can see that it's a stained glass window. It's very ornately set up, and it seems to be showing a dragonborn raising its hand up, kind of pompously, kind of raising its chin up as well. The dragonborn featured in the stained glass appears to be silver skinned, which kind of shows as kind of like a light gray or white. And it seems to be surrounded by small figures of hourglasses around it. Its hand kind of up like this, directly kind of above that, it seems to be a symbol, which you've seen a couple of times before. It would be the symbol that was on Rakash's shield in the underbelly. It's also very similar to the dragon that was on top of the stone, the Placekeeper Stone. It seems to be a common motif. There are 3 other stained glass windows on the opposite side. There do appear to have been stairs that led up, and from what you can tell, there looks like there might have been a bell tower at some point. But now it seems to just kind of go up into not an open cavity, but kind of like a stair section, and your presumption is that it doesn't go much further than one flight above you, as the stairs are broken away, and there isn't much to it. You also didn't see a tower from outside.
Mm-hmm. I'll cautiously approach the dais thing here and
Okay. So
investigate it.
there are 3 items sitting out on the altar. There are 2 bronze bowls and an hourglass in the center. The bronze bowl on the left appears to have kind of red stained bottom, and the bronze bowl on the right seems to have kind of a just clean, normal kind of condition bottom. Nothing too disturbing there. The cloth that you're kind of standing on that seems to have survived, it does have kind of a sound as you kind of step onto it, and you realize that it's got a bit of water damage to it, but it doesn't seem to have fared as poorly as some of the things outside. The pews are slightly shifted, but you can see that their legs from this position in front are kind of very massive stone blocks, so the shifting that's kind of existed hasn't been enough to toss them out. That's fine, Zach. That said, there does appear to be a large pottery pot behind the altar, kind of in the back corner, and also another stained glass window. This one seems to be depicting a dragonborn that is kind of leaning inwards with his hands kind of off to the sides like this. He is black dragonborn. Hold on a second here.
And I thought these were all images of Rakash because he's self-important, but I guess it's other Dragonborn as well.
The Dragonborn in question seems to have skull symbols instead of hourglass symbols. And there seems to be a motif in front of him that appears to be a pair of wings with a skull kind of in the center of it. A pair of kind of dragon wings. So it's kind of like a death's head, but instead of angel wings, toss those out, put in some bat wings.
And as I approach the pot, do I see anything inside of it?
Water!
Alright.
Cyril would motion to Ulair to come back.
I'm not detecting any kind of traps up here, but there's these 2 bowls and this hourglass, and I'm sure if we touch it, something will happen, but we might
can
need
see from
to
here.
progress.
Well, so I was going to mention if we stand back enough, I could use a mage hand to pick up one of the items.
Oh, sorry. And just in case no one's asked anything about it, I just want to make sure it's clear. There is a massive staircase that descends down into the earth.
Yeah, I was about to start heading there as he mage hands things.
Okay.
That's
What are you mage handing?
So I'd leave stand back. I'm going to get back a little bit more.
Okay. And what were you saying, Dan?
Interject and suggest that maybe before we start tinkering with things, see if there's any arcane energies or, maybe deduce what might the altar be for, perhaps religion.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ceremony that needs to take place to open the stairway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, it doesn't need opening. You could go down.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just see if maybe, there's, an arcane trap on it, or, we could hang out. You could do a ritual detect magic. We don't have to, you could ritual cast it. We could just chill for a minute.
Yeah, can I do that?
Sure.
Help, Leaf get a little more dry. I'll pull a towel out of my backpack.
Do not worry, my friend. I am so dry.
Sorry. Just want to make sure I've got everyone's position. Cyril and Alvin are currently talking and getting ready to discuss and investigate what might be the situation here. It sounds like Leaf is on board for that. And Ulair said he was going down the steps.
Don't go by yourself, dude.
When Alvin spoke up, I'll just kind of hang out by them and keep an ear out for anything that might be coming up from below.
Okay.
Is there any dust present on the mantle? Is it well kept? Is it dirty?
There's no dust because everything's kind of clean. There is broken stone bits that are on the ground, but most of the dust is kind of compiled into kind of packs of what was mud and is now dry.
I'll start just straightening the pews.
Okay. They're very heavy. If you don't have a strength of 16 or higher, you're not moving them.
I'm going to pretend that I was going to move the pews and instead just kind of, dust them off.
There's no dust.
They missed a spot.
Oh, okay. The deluge of the open ocean missed a spot. That said, what are you planning on doing, Andy and
detecting magic on the dais where there are the 2 bowls and the hourglass.
Yes.
You'll have the whole area, man.
So what you'll very quickly note is your divination magic does not seem to work in this temple. As you cast the spell, you feel the spell be cast after your ritual has been performed, but you do not see any change in your sight padding.
Okay.
Make an Arcana check.
Sure. Uh, 18.
You're using the first one. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, I just clicked it twice, yeah.
You would know that the plane of shadow, from what you can remember from studies, typically is segmented up into different dread realms, and the dread realms are ruled by an individual who can basically distort the nature of magic. It would seem that whoever has created this small little pocket here, or who has had access to it, has made it so divination magic, any divination spell, does not work here.
And so I would say to the group that my magics are blocked in this strange place. I can still try Mage Hand, or we might just head down to look around first.
I believe Ulair messed with the bowls and stuff. Like, it's not a big deal. It's not like
Oh, I didn't realize he touched them.
he investigated them, right?
I was investigating around them to see if there's any pressure plates. But yeah, I probably touched them then, and hey, we're good.
Yeah.
Any religious knowledge or?
So if you have religion trained, you can attempt to roll it.
I'm curious
yeah.
if Cyril has it trained.
No, Halo would probably have it though, but he's not here.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. What about bardic knowledge?
Bardic knowledge says, how about we either grab them and we go down the stairs? That is my bardic knowledge for you, my friend.
You can take them if you want.
Halo gives one of the grandest of Zach interjections. He goes, yeah, as you kind of look to him and you are expecting a response, is, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You can have them, Leaf.
Wait, I never said I wanted them. It was Cyril who was looking at them.
But if they don't have a magical energy to them, I'm not particularly interested.
You can't discern.
Wait, hey Cyril, you couldn't detect one. That doesn't mean they don't have one.
It's true.
So let's either grab them and go, or just go.
Well, that's up to you. I'm not grabbing it.
If you
Then
want
let's
to grab them, we should wait until after we're ready to leave. Just in case. And that's also with us outside this zone.
That would be
So-
the safe thing.
I'll go up to the altar, John,
Yeah.
and I'll take some water. There's
Okay.
water there, right?
There's water over on the side there. You also have one in your water skin.
I'll kind of anoint myself with the water.
Well, there's no water at the altar.
Oh, I thought there was water. You know what, man? I don't even know what I'm saying.
Let me explain it one more time so you're on board, okay?
Sure.
So, on the altar, there are 3 items. There's an hourglass in the center, a bowl on the left that looks like it has like red staining at the bottom of it. Okay, it's made out of bronze, and then the bowl on the right.
It's red, not brown.
Red, yeah. The bronze bowl on the right appears to have no staining or any kind of things whatsoever. Neither of them have any markings. Hourglass is currently stands all on the bottom. Up in the top right, there is a clay pot, like a big old jug, and if you go and investigate, inside it is filled to the brim with water. And-
I'll turn the hourglass and pour water in the open basin. Not the brown one, but the...
Okay.
Anything happen?
So you turn the hourglass first, go grab the water and pour it in.
Yes.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
What if you try this? And I'll walk up and give myself a cut on my palm and squeeze some blood into
I mean, it's
the
bright
fountain of
red.
Do you do it immediately after what Alvin had done?
I like he's done it, and now I walk up from my position and do it.
Okay. So then, yeah, go ahead and take a point of damage as you cut into your flesh. The blood drips down into the thing. The second it does, you watch the sands stop falling, and some of them seem to be kind of loftily, like, hanging in space. You then feel a weird kind of distortion as the lightlessness of the room changes to regular coloredness of the chamber. And that's it. Then the sands continue to fall as normal.
Divination. So he would... will you be focusing on your detect magic for a moment?
It doesn't work. It's not working in this.
Were you
area.
still focusing on it? Does it still no longer work?
I see.
Detect magic doesn't work like it used to, I don't think. It's not a hold-on thing. It kind of just detects and then it's done.
You could concentrate on it, I thought. That's what my one guy, Cardiff, did in 5th.
I think that would have been in Pathfinder, actually, but yeah, hold on.
It is up to 10
Concentration.
minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Up to 10.
So I guess, yeah, if you are concentrating, yeah, the bowls and the hourglass seem to glow.
Good call, Dan.
Pretty simple puzzle. And then...
Oh, now that your magic's up and running, let's hope that's all my blood did and not bound me to this place in some way.
You're all right, Ulair. I slap him on the back.
Yeah, let's keep going. Hopefully we can find those fangs.
Do you head down the steps?
Yeah, I hit that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Do I know the school of magic of the items?
No, it just seems to be kind of a keying, so abjuration.
Okay.
So you head down the steps, and literally at the base of the steps, it's kind of like a 10-foot kind of hall. And at the end of the hall, you can see that there's kind of an alcove set against the back wall. Setting in that alcove is what appears to be kind of like a stone-shaped dragon hand. And above it, like a dragon-born head carved out of stone. It appears to be a skull dragon or black dragon. It seems to be kind of just like pushing itself out of the wall, and in its hand, it's holding a what appears to be a dagger.
Oh, it's a dagger. Do we really want to give that guy? Get this? I'd like dagger.
I mean, he's not here. First of all.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I try to be honorable. Anyway, how far from the stairs is this alcove with the dagger?
So you go down the steps. It's like 20 feet down, and then 10 feet from the steps is the wall. Okay. It's almost as if, like, if you'd walked down here before, there would have been, maybe. Who knows? You'll never know, because you never went down there.
Andy, maintain concentration on detect magic.
I'm maintaining concentration.
Just do that for 10 minutes.
Okay, so...
The dagger glows, and also the hand glows.
So...
Dagger seems to have an enchantment, or enhancement on it. And the hand appears to have some sort of abjuration or conjuration.
It's a trap.
Yes, it is.
Cyril, is there any way that you can decipher what type of trap or how it acts? Like if we were to simply replace item with another item.
I don't think that would work at all. Alvin just literally guffaws.
You might have to replace its hand with your own hand, maybe, right?
The hand is much larger than what would be a normal-sized hand, even for a dragonborn.
Am I able to do, like, arcana checks while I'm holding concentration?
Yeah.
No. Oh, you can? Never mind.
Okay.
I didn't think you could. I'm stupid. Don't
Concentration's just the state. It doesn't change anything about your character.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I'd like to focus in on that and see if I could learn anything about it.
So you currently know the schools, abjuration and conjuration.
Okay. But that's it.
You can go make an arcana check, yeah.
Thank you. 17.
So you know abjuration is warding magic, defensive magic, blocking magic. Specifically, a good note of abjuration in your mind would probably be like spells you're thinking about, or mage armor, shield, stuff like that. And conjuration magic can be something that summons something to, a location. It could be magic that teleports something, or moves it in some way. Conjuration can also, those are mainly the things that it focuses in on, yeah.
Got it.
You remember when the shield got pulled away?
God,
Yep.
This kid is on fucking fire right now.
Dude, I should be playing a wizard. That's my jam. Anyway.
Yeah, you're good. I'm not so good. Sorry.
You're okay.
No worries.
So, Cyril, when you were dealing with that shield, what happened? What
tried
test did you have to go through?
It seemed as if it were testing my strength. It wanted to pull away from me.
So what you're saying is you might still be the best suited to do this.
I am not interested in it. No. I can assist you. I'm able with my divination magic to sort of intercede on any kind of ability checks that you might have that might provide help. I'm not sure how much I can help.
Let's just say if I try to hold on to that thing, it ain't gonna end well. And it will disappear as well.
That might be a sign that this might be one of those things we want to just leave behind.
If we were to go grab Kenji and let him know that it's probably a similar situation, be able to have something to help us obtain it for him.
It's possible he has that bag of tricks.
Would you want to go see him, Cyril?
Maybe
I don't know
he's
if I need
got
to stay here since my blood's what's been used to do something.
Cyril, my friend, I can cast enhance ability on you on your strength, and you can then easily hold on to it.
Why is it that you always want Cyril to die, Leaf?
No, listen, asshole. You are the strongest one in the group. Flex your muscles. If you give me your muscles, I would easily do it, and then I would be not only the best part, but also the strongest, and also not an asshole.
Oh, God.
You either need to listen to your destiny, or you need to give it up and be a common man. You cannot have both.
I'm a man of magic, not a man of strength.
Well, you've been lifting books and scrolls for so long. You kind of obtained both.
But you are the strongest one in this group by far.
Him reading. Yeah, that's a good book.
Everybody says Cyril is a prodigy. He is a super special person with good strength and all good attributes. So you need to maybe act like it.
Let's keep going.
Okay, I can give you a awesome song, one that is not copyrighted.
All right, I'll grab my nuts.
You can do it.
What are you saying, Dan?
I'll grab my nuts.
You going in?
But I'm telling you, if I take the dagger and I like it, I can't say I'll give it to Kenji. Do you want to go for it, Cyril? I mean, Ulair?
It's not gonna go well.
Somebody wants me to enhance their strength?
I mean, it's either you or me,
I
man.
will take enhancing strength so I have a better chance at rolling well. I'll
What
certainly
is
take any
enhancing
help you can
strength
give me,
do?
friend.
What does enhancing strength do?
Gives you
It gives me
advantage on all
advantage.
strength rolls.
Fine, I could try it. Jesus Christ.
No, you're okay.
You are the strongest.
Ulair,
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Ulair has this. I put my hand on.
No, but
on
he's got a
Cyril's chest.
-1.
That's fine. He's got it.
I don't want him to get killed.
He'll get killed.
If you're that afraid, friend, it's okay. I'll do it. I'm not so. I just want to make sure that we can succeed in our task of getting Kenji what he wants, so that the pay that he's entrusted us, we get on the back end.
All right, so I cast enhance ability on who?
On Ulair.
You there?
Yeah, it's not gonna go well, but it'll be funny.
You can do it, man. You can do
Good advantage. We'll see. Well,
Okay. And then what?
it. Wait, do you want Bardic Inspiration too? I can give you that. That's an
Yes,
extra D8.
I'll take
you're it on, man.
I'll take everything. I'll take
I will give
everything.
him that. I do this song. It's non-denominational, so don't worry.
Alright. So let me make sure I've got this right. Enhance ability, strength. And then Bardic Inspiration. Anything else?
I think that's all we got.
Okay.
Tie a rope around him.
Alright. And then you walk over to the dagger.
Uh-huh.
It seems like the dragonborn head, the face of Venkar, just stares down at you intimidatingly. And then you look down at the dagger. It appears to be made out of a single dragon's fang and bound and wrapped with leathers, kind of locked in place. There's, on the tooth, just sitting there, just kind of idly in the hand of stone. And you reach forward.
Before he
With the
grabs
hand
it,
that I had cut myself with too.
when I see him grab it, I want to let him know I'm going to pull you away with the rope.
All right.
Is it around his neck?
Oh.
So with the hand that I had cut myself with, to use as kind of like the blood offering, I reach out and grab the dagger and try to pull it.
Do you want to hold on to it when this sudden effect happens, or do you want to relinquish it?
We're gonna try and hold on and know that I'm gonna get burned alive or something from the dragon.
Being dragged and pulled by a rope. Dan, I'm gonna need you to make a. I'm gonna say a perception check. I've set the DC. If you make it, you'll notice it as it's happening. Perfect. Acceptable. So you will be quick enough on the draw to help. That's stated. You have advantage for this dexterity saving throw that you'll be making.
Hey! I'm good at dexterity, though.
It's fine.
Sorry, I hit it. Well, oh, darn it. That's an 11, so we will use the Bardic Inspiration for sure. Leaf, what is that, a 1d8?
Yes, 1.
So 16 total on the dex save.
Not enough. You pull the rope, and then you cannot pull any longer as you watch the entirety of the section in front of the steps fill in with dirt. Ulair vanishes. Ulair, everything goes dark. You feel pressure on your chest, and you feel a very sudden loss of oxygen. What's your constitution modifier?
2.
We should dig him out of there.
You have 12 seconds before you start suffocating.
So once we see that, I mean, Cyril is going to rush forward and try to start digging him out.
Okay.
Oh, follow the rope.
You keep pulling on the rope. It seems
No,
to be...
no, I'm not pulling. I'm using it as a tether to get to him. Like, I don't want to...
Oh, no. So, like, let me explain it one more time. So, like, there's, like, an end to the hallway. It's now just dirt. Like, it's filled in with dirt. Like, it was sudden. It was instantaneous. It didn't fall in. It
Conjured it.
It just appeared, and he's inside of it. Yeah.
There's even like along the path of the rope, I can't see anything.
You can't see anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's completely... You're not in a small cavity. You are literally, like, filled in like packing peanuts.
I can't move.
Except
like, I am effectively restrained.
You're buried.
That is true. So, let's do this on a 1-for-1 beat. We're going to start with round 1. We're going to start with Tim because he's the first one experiencing it. In one hand, you have a dagger. It's locked in place on that position. Your other hand was probably just idly off to the side. Perfectly fine. There's a rope tethered to you, creating a connection between you and it, or the outside, in a way. But everything else is filled in with dirt. You can attempt to struggle against the dirt and try and move yourself inside of the dirt. You could try to hold your breath, but there isn't much air to breathe. It was sudden. And if you can think of anything else, you could try those two.
I mean, I can't see anything, so I can't teleport. So,
Hold on.
so I'm just thinking like, what's it called? Like, realistically speaking, I probably can't move anything due to the weight of the dirt around me.
Correct. You can attempt to struggle, but like I said, that isn't going to have too much of an effect. You can certainly try. It'd be strength athletics to try and kind of move.
Yeah, we'll try strength athletics to do something. Because I have advantage on that, and I still have bardic inspiration since I failed, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know if his does that. Does it?
He's a lore bard, right?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm a lore bard.
Alright, so strength athletics, 11 plus, go away Discord. Alright, oh wait, I can do this, right? Roll 1d8, so 14.
Doesn't seem to be doing much. Yeah, definitely pretty solidly packed in there. Yeah, that's one turn. Moving on from you, we'll go ahead and set it up to the 3 outside. You can act in any order you wish, but once all 3 of you have done something, it will go back to Ulair and he will
I
go
hope
through
one of you have Mold Earth as a cantrip.
round number 2.
Nope.
Mold Earth.
So Cyril had run up and is starting to dig.
Oh fuck!
Okay.
No spells.
Are we sticking with that idea?
Mold Earth? No, I don't have Mold Earth. No.
Cantrip. It would be.
I don't have it.
I pull a shovel, like a tiny hand shovel, out of my backpack and start digging.
Same.
I have a question for you guys. More actually for the DM.
Sure.
If I were to use something like Thunder Wave on the dirt, would I be able to push it to the sides? Like maybe do that a couple times until we get close to them, and then we can like kind of dig them out.
You can certainly try. So
I say that to Cyril and Alvin. Do you want me to try to use Thunder Wave to push some of the dirt to the sides?
Don't you know that lightning does not work
lightning.
against Earth Pokemon? Okay.
No. Listen, Alvin, I'm going to use Thunder Wave, which creates like a lot of damage, but it also moves things aside. It moves the opponent if you hit them and they fail their save. So it'll move the dirt to the sides. So I can do it like when it's my turn. I can do that, and you guys can keep digging, and then you can step out of the way. They can do that again.
So we'll wait for him. So he says that.
he goes first.
He goes first.
Go ahead.
Actually, I'll start out doing it at a high level too. I'll do it like at a second level.
Great.
It'll do more damage, which is movement ability.
Okay. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw there at disadvantage.
That's what I thought I was gonna do. You're just packing it in deep, just fucking burying them.
12.
Take 18 thunder damage.
What about your inspiration or your? Fuck it.
What you do notice as the thunder wave detonates into the packing, you see that it kind of shakes the outside of it, and you notice that a bit of it starts to kind of peel down. So it does look like it kind of forms, kind of breaks in the mass of dirt, possibly loosening it, but it does not just send the dirt flying away. It doesn't look like it was a bad idea. It just doesn't look like it was, we'll see. So then Alvin and Cyril?
Can we attack those breaks in the dirt that are now
You're
apparent?
going to attempt to dig, as you stated.
Yep.
If you're doing so with a shovel, you have advantage. Strength athletics check is the check.
Fuck.
Okay. Cyril, you're just kind of scratching at dirt.
Yep.
I got an 11.
Daniel, with a shovel, you start kind of digging at it.
I could use my sword.
Don't stab him.
It's probably not going to do much better, to be honest. Your hand kind of scoops, and the sword doesn't.
Okay.
So, yeah. You kind of start trying to dig with the shovel, and you're just kind of hitting into the dirt and kind of loosening it out a bit. Ulair, your turn again.
Real quick, how does suffocation work? Is it like an instant thing, or I just start taking damage each round?
Hold on a second.
You have to hold your breath, and it takes rounds, like swimming.
So, suffocation. A creature can hold its breath for a number of minutes equal to 1 plus its constitution modifier. You did not start the process by holding your breath. So you were not holding your breath. You were being put into a situation where you were already out of breath. When a creature runs out of breath, which will happen after a number of rounds equal to your constitution modifier, you can survive for a number of rounds equal to your constitution modifier. So when you are in that state, you're kind of dying. But at the start of the turn at the end of that, rewind. So you weren't holding your breath, immediate fill-in. You are technically in the out-of-breath choking state now. So we're actually in the survival portion now. At the end of this round that we're coming into, your hit points will reduce to 0, and you are in the dying state. You can't regain hit points or be stabilized until you can breathe again. So yeah, 2 rounds to reach air before dropping to 0, and then yeah, it'll be death saving throws from there. I would say if you manage to magically roll a natural 20 with those death saving throws.
Hey, he still has bardic inspiration, right?
Yeah, because he keeps failing. If you do manage to do that, I will reset the clock. So
Okay.
if that does happen.
Alright.
This is not as bad as it seems.
Oh, this is as bad as it seemed.
It's not as bad as it seems.
All right. I have a suspicion that if I let go of the dagger, it possibly fixes it, but I don't know.
You don't think you can?
It conjured
okay
the
then.
dirt,
Well,
man.
Yeah, you're filled in.
Do or die. I struggle again.
Okay, go ahead. Make a strength athletics check.
And it's at advantage. 17.
Okay, you do.
And I'm going to. Well, you were about to say something probably good, but we're gonna, because I failed yet again, so we're gonna use Bardic Inspiration to try and get a good roll. That's a 23 to struggle.
So, changing what I was going to say, you manage to kind of get your knees kind of positioned against hard surface and feel you can kind of push against it. And as you're kind of wiggling like this, you kind of push backwards. You can feel like you're moving in that direction. And those on the outside can see kind of like the loose packed areas kind of start to cause dirt to push out and aside. Something inside is moving and struggling. You're presuming it's probably about 7 feet in.
Leaf, pull the rope. Just keep pulling the rope, and I'll just keep trying to dig.
Okay. All right. So then it goes to the party's turn. Leaf, do you want to pull the rope? Do you want to throw another thunder wave out? Do you want to do anything else? Is there anything in mind that you want?
Leaf wants to save his friend's life. So this is what Leaf does. Leaf does what Leaf does best. He takes his magical bard instrument of the bards, and he gets close to the dirt. Because how much dirt do we have in between us and him? We're assuming like
7 feet.
About
7 feet. Okay. So I start to jam really loud on my instrument, and I cast a spell that is called Reviving Melody, and this spell will actually heal him and help him on death saving throws.
Show me
Because
Reviving Melody.
everybody knows music helps you die better. Is this one of your spells?
Yeah. All creatures and spells area have advantage on concentration checks and death saving throws. Okay.
And he can hear it, and he is like, he thinks to himself, Leaf is coming to save me. I do not have to worry.
You know, when you're dying, your hearing is the last to go.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, John,
True.
since it restores hit points, does it give me one more turn of struggle?
You can't breathe.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Because I cannot gain hit points back until I can breathe again.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think this one was actually.
It's like whenever you take damage, you gain hit points back that round.
Right. I think the all creatures. I think there was added verbiage to this in a later all non-dying creatures within the spells area. Right, which is why it gives advantage on death saving throws. And it doesn't keep getting people back up with its healing. So I'll have to double check that. Make sure that's right.
So at least it gives him advantage on saving throws, right?
Right. It will not keep getting him back up from 0 hit points. Is the main thing.
Stop swallowing the dirt.
Yeah. It heals the living. It does not keep bringing back the dead.
Cyril picks up the rope that Leaf dropped when he sang his song, and he starts pulling.
Strength athletics check.
Ferg. 11.
Okay. You feel a weight being pulled on you, Uller, and you feel like if you had the breath for it, you would be able to push backwards a bit harder, but you can feel the world going dark.
I'm digging.
Feel like it's going to get you too far in. Go ahead, make a strength athletics check with advantage, Dan.
So 14. To dig.
You manage to start kind of slapping at the earth and kind of hitting at its points with the shovel and pulling in like massive chunks. You manage to clear about 2 feet. You're pretty sure he's still out of reach, just on the other side of this dirt matter. But you do feel like you've put a lot more work into it with this last second. It feels more desperate now. That said, Uller, welcome to 0 hit points.
20!
You regain 1 hit point, so you are still conscious. You manage to find kind of a slight pocket of just air and gumption. the song.
No, it was
outside
the song.
It was the song.
pumping the shit out of you. Go ahead and take your turn as normal. Do you wish to struggle?
I will struggle.
All right.
4.
Okay. You managed to push a little bit more, but not too much pushback. You're not sure how far you're going sight-wise. You do see on the outside as you're shoveling, it looks like a bit is kind of coming out at you, Dan. If you had to venture a guess, you feel like it's close. You're pretty close. Dan done, or not Dan done, sorry, Ulair done. You all get a turn.
Kevin, help.
15.
Please
still
help me
digging.
pull the rope.
Okay.
He has to work on the song.
No, I don't. It's not. I think it's concentration 10 minutes. But do I have to keep it on?
I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
the deal.
It just happens. It's an aura that lasts for a while.
Okay, cool.
Help Cyril pull the rope.
Oh!
Well, here.
No. I see. I remember why. It's not non-living. The math's already in there. Additionally, all creatures in the spell's area have advantage on addition. Taken damage since the end of the turn. So, a quick note. When suffocating drops you to 0, it does not deal damage. It just sets your hit points to 0 and puts you in dying state. So, as a future reference, if you are conscious, like right now, you didn't take any damage last turn. You were just set to 0, so you will not regain hit points on this turn from Kevin. But because he thunderwaved you, you regained hit points on the turn after he thunderwaved you. Does that make sense?
Okay.
That's why you should thunderwave people you're going to save. No, this is what I'm thinking. I would say, Cyril, I think it's going to help us more to actually dig than to pull on a rope. If you
Keep
think
pulling
of in dirt and
If the two of us together, I think we made some progress, and I didn't do that well on the check. I might have advantage if you help me with it.
I'm
But we're
desperate.
talking
I'm fucking yelling at you. Pull the rope, and I'm digging.
Alright,
Can
will
I
pull
do
the
a
rope then.
fucking persuasion on him?
No.
Can it be like a battle?
No.
Didn't we have like
He said
a
he's going to pull the
influence?
rope.
Okay, cool.
I'll
pull
pull
the
the rope.
Okay, if the two of you are pulling the rope, who's helping who?
Cyril should be the main person since I have a
Okay.
higher strength.
Then Leave is helping Cyril. Cyril, go ahead and make a strength athletics check with advantage.
11.
You're doing really great on these rolls, by the way.
I am not.
You don't feel like the rope's giving any leeway. The shoveling does seem to kind of cut another foot or so from the soil. Ulair, you are in there, and that would have been the last turn would have been turn 1 of 2. So this is turn 2 of 2. You refresh and get the turn. You don't get another. Yeah. It's not a free turn plus 2 more turns. It's turn. So this is the last.
I thought I was gonna be suffocating again at the end of last turn.
Yeah,
so-
you're doing great. You're doing great compared to in the dying state. So that said,
Struggle.
at the end of this turn, during the next turn, you'll fall down. But yeah.
Oh shoot. I don't have advantage anymore though because Leaf's concentrating on something else.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, that's not true. I can concentrate and then also pull a rope. You can concentrate on a spell and pull
Yeah,
a
but you
rope.
used a different spell. You can't.
You're not.
That's
I don't
required
have full
concentration.
strength
Oh,
anymore.
you're right. I would be concentrating on the other spell, the one that's reviving melody.
You feel like as you're kind of getting your feet out and kind of trying to push off that, the dirt that kind of was in the space above you before you kind of shifted back a little bit has now sunk in on your legs and is kind of holding you in that position. And you're not able to get the same kind of shifting that you were able to do before. Goes to the party outside. Shovel double rope.
And I'm 0
Yep.
now, right?
You will at the start of your turn it goes into 0. Make a death saving throw, and then if you don't succeed, your turn continues.
Okay.
Can you,
Dan, desperation's kind of sinking in. You're kind of slapping the shovel in there, trying to get the dirt to move. Not too much effort, or not too much success, but a lot of effort is expended. Rope Town.
I think roping is a bad idea.
You think what?
I think we will make more progress digging.
Are you pulling the rope or not?
Yes.
Are
I
you
guess I'll
helping
keep-
or not?
My
I'll
rolls
help.
suck.
This is a bad idea, guys. I think he's dying, and we're not digging.
So as you kind of pull, you kind of feel like a tug that kind of pushes the air out of you again, Ulair. Go ahead and make a death saving throw.
And then I get one more because it's at advantage, right?
Well, yes. And we take
Alright,
the higher of the two.
So 19.
Okay, so you're not dying
Mhm.
as of yet. Let me double check suffocating. Hold on.
This is intense, guys.
Where's our strong wizard now? Come on, man.
I'm telling you, I'm not very strong. I only have a +2.
I have a -1.
Okay, so the one thing I notice here, and I just want to make sure this is, I'm going to say it before we get into argument of it, because rules as written, if you were to make 3 successful death saving throws right now, you could live underground in Eternum. You would never have to worry about it.
We layer them all, man.
What I am going to state is you're going to have to keep making death saving throws regardless. So if
Okay.
you succeed at 3, it doesn't matter. You're going to
Right.
have to keep going until they get you out or you die. Because
Right.
I don't think that doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I made it. I'm good for an hour. Because you can...
The only thing I would like, the only other idea I had, but I don't care, no attachment, is like 3 successes would count as another, like, I wake up for maybe even just like a round of action.
Nah, I wouldn't allow it.
Yeah. No, cool.
Yeah, you're definitely in the dying state. So yeah.
I can't dig.
Did you try again? Okay.
Switch with me and pull the freaking rope.
Do me a favor, Dan. Roll a d20.
You're adding dirt to it.
Advantage.
You take your shovel.
Oh, you have advantage. Oh, sorry. That was okay. Got it. You're right. Sorry. You didn't roll double ones like certain Kevin rocket ships. That was earlier. You missed it. It was hilarious.
I heard
That's
it.
hilarious.
Okay.
We can do this. We gotta save.
Ropes. Go, Cyril. Roll. There you go.
Yes!
All right. So, as you pull, you manage to. He was.
And it was close.
Yeah, you pull. He exits in kind of a thud. Dirt kind of spilling out around him.
Clutching the dagger.
No, hold on a second. Roll a d100.
Me?
Yeah.
He let go of the dagger while suffocating. 35.
You sure did. So somewhere buried inside of the dirt, but you presume is the dagger. Whether he relinquished it back at where it was put, or whether he dropped it somewhere in between. But you pull him out with the rope. He has nothing in his hands, and he kind of slumps onto the ground. You basically see him lying there in the dying state. But yeah, that's your actions there. It'll go to Ulair, who is in death saving throw mode. Success, yeah. Okay. The lot of
Halo, help him.
I'm gonna
Halo's
sweep
there.
his mouth and take dirt out. Turn him on his side. Slap his back.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and make a medicine check.
Hey.
Knowing what to do, and clearing the airway was the most important part. Thank you. I was wondering if the others would have caught that, but yeah, you clear the dirt from his mouth, which is a substantial amount, and make sure he has good breathing capability. He seems to be kind of taking to it once you get the dirt out of his nostrils and out of his mouth.
I'm just gonna start giving him fucking CPR just because I wanna.
But he's still quite unconscious. Yeah. That said, let me double check and see.
We just lost our listener, Dan.
We lost our one Twitch viewer.
Oh, yeah, that'll happen.
No, it's a
Great success. And I'm not going to force Zach to spend one of his 2 remaining spell slots for the day without consenting him. That said,
I can heal, guys.
if
I can
anybody...
cast Cure.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and cast Cure Wounds. That's even better.
How badly do you need it?
What?
Yeah.
He was at 0 hit points.
He's dying.
Was he really at 0 hit points?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's dead.
Suffocation locks your hit points to 0.
I guess I missed that.
Yeah.
I'll give him. I can only have level 1 spell slots, so I'll give him a level 1 Cure.
Cool. Pretty good.
Not bad for level.
All right, Cyril. Detect magic. Detect magic.
There's no magic. There's the lingering effects of conjuration magic, but there's no magic.
Dagger's gone. That's what I thought.
No, you can't see through stone.
No, we can dig in there.
You can't see through stone or dirt to see magical aura.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we gotta dig, I guess. Oh.
Dig that shit, man.
All right.
Hilt takes off his robe.
Yeah, so if you're digging and searching, yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check. Pick a leader and have them do it. There's no help assigned. Perfectly fine.
I'm pretty good at that. Are you good at that, Dan?
Someone already rolled it. So
I got a
said,
+9.
you
Can anyone
spent-
give me advantage?
No. So you spend the roll's already been done. Let me finish what I was saying. You spend the
Yeah,
better
but
part-
inspiration.
I can give him inspiration.
Just trying to move it on.
I know.
So that said,
I can't want him to not get the dagger,
you're
man.
gonna get the dagger.
Oh,
It's
okay,
just
cool.
It's just a matter of time. It's in there. What I'm saying is as you spend that time searching, Kenji comes down to find out what's going on. Since you've been down there for the better part of 45 minutes, sifting through sand to try and find a dagger. You set up a process up, and you start working together. Halo comes in, shrinks some of the dirt down, moves it up, and drops it up to the top. Shovel stuff out, continually moving it that way, doing your best to kind of get some of the dirt out and kind of create like a grid for searching. And about a good 6 feet in, where he was when he was yanking, or being yanked rather, you managed to find the dagger. But Kenji's there and says, "Oh, you found it! Perfect."
Steps over Ulair's fucking body on the ground.
He almost died for this. This is twice.
It's Ulair's lot in life, okay? I'm sorry.
We're hired to do a job. We're doing it. I'd be really fascinated to know what the dagger can do, though, Kenji, since I almost died getting it for you.
Well, you can inspect it if you'd like.
Cyril, let me know what I'm giving him. That I can't have for my what toy I can't have for myself.
So I could identify it.
Sure. If you do so, you will note that the item can be used as a spellcasting implement by a wizard of the necromancy school. If used as such, it grants a +2 bonus to attack rolls and DC saving throws for spells cast.
Wow.
Additionally, the item can be used to allow for a caster to, let me see, I think it's Animate Dead, hold on.
Is this Venkar's dagger?
The Fang of Venkar, yeah.
Fang of Venkar.
Right. So when the dagger is used as an implement in the casting of the Animate Dead spell, it allows for the caster to treat all such castings as 1 level higher.
So you get plus to the DC and you increase the spell level?
+2 to attack rolls, +2 to saving throw DCs. Can only be and +1 spell level for the Animate Dead spell when cast.
Gotta be a necromancer.
Just the Animate Dead. You don't have to be a necromancer to cast Animate Dead.
You have to be a necromancer to attune to the dagger.
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah. The School of Necromancy is a prerequisite for the Fang of Venkar.
Still really cool dagger.
Yeah,
Cool item, John.
It's a cool dagger.
Yeah, the Animate Dead spell typically brings up like skeletons or zombies. If you cast it as a higher level spell, it's 2 additional undead per slot above 3rd. So if you were to cast a 3rd level spell, it would be a 4th level spell. And
If you
so
cast it
on.
as a 9th level spell,
You'd
you'd be
get 10th
casting a
level.
10th level spell.
Correct.
Oh crap! 10th level spells aren't a thing anymore.
They are technically not, no. I do miss them. I miss epic level spells, but yeah. That said,
How did you fail that dexterity saving throw, man?
It was probably a really high DC.
the acquirer of the dagger asks, so is it something you are wanting to keep?
No. It was never for me to keep. I was just curious what I'd be missing out on.
Oh, do you
FOMO.
Do you like daggers?
Lantern shield, kukri.
Oh, that's
Yes.
an interesting one. I don't have anything like that, but he gestures out his hand to take the fang from whoever has it, the identifier, I presume.
Yep.
Takes it, put it into his pocket, and reaches into his bag and says, "I don't know if this will help," and pulls out a combat knife and kind of spins it around and hands it to you. Hilt first. It's got some sort of enchantment on it, or enhancement on it.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a +1 combat knife.
Okay. Combat knife, which you can find in Dirks and Daggers.
It is a dagger that can be used as bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. It's pretty cool.
That's the thing.
Yeah, because it's got the knuckle duster, it's got the stabby point, and it's got a slashy bit.
Yeah.
Hey Kenji, what do you make of those basins on the altar? There was a ritual we performed prior to entering to, I guess, give us a time in the zone or area, temple.
They're just bronze bowls, he says.
They were magical.
I'm not terribly interested with them. There aren't very many stories about the bronze bowls that were found in a broken temple.
I was hoping you would be able to tell me a little bit about them, like what this temple is a temple to. I guess just...
I'm only really a historian on things that I can sell. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
You'll notice that most of the smart things he said have been related to item, right? Not.
Right.
Yeah.
Still curious.
I'm sorry, I'm not better at this.
Yeah, tell me more lore, you worthless merchant.
How dare you say this to me? He says it. He opens up the bag and a Tarrasque comes out.
I eat its heart.
Good thing I got a
And
combat
that'd be
knife.
one massive creature on top of another massive creature, which is actually floating on top of another massive creature, a kraken, which is
Katamari
actually on top.
Damashi.
It's just massive creatures instead of turtles, just stacked indefinitely.
So it turns out that you were the perfect person to do that little event, Tim, because Ullair has the highest dex. Cyril would have
I
been
still failed.
screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not very easy to identify a trapped spell. Yeah, you knew the magic types. You just have to try and decide what kind of ill fate might be present therein.
Dispel magic.
If he'd rolled higher on the Arcana check, I could have told him that the trigger was when the dagger was removed. And it appears to bring something forth. That's all he could have learned if he'd rolled higher.
Well, and what there too is like as I grabbed it, I could have been ready to potentially try to teleport out where I can still see.
Yeah, and then the wording part, you would have noted that spells like Mage Hand or some other thing to try and move the dagger off the mantle that weren't grabbing it and taking it were blocked. And Dispel Magic wouldn't have worked.
What about a 10-foot pole?
10-foot pole wouldn't work.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Has to be a hand that takes.
What about Mordenkainen's Disjunction? Oh wait,
Yeah.
that's not...
If you'd gotten a 30-ish Arcana check, you would have actually learned there was a command word that could have been spoken to remove the article from the hand. But anyways, pointless asides, stuff that you probably reflect on after the fact. But yeah, I think, and I mean, that was pretty good, well done, solidly handled. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it for tonight. And we'll pick up next session with them deciding where to go next. Thanks for watching.
And let's just be clear, Ullair was successful in obtaining the artifact that he went to get.
That's fair. Hey,
Party.
Cyril,
And
the
you're not even blinded and cursed.
The team.
He's almost dead, you know.
You're not blinded anymore, right? That
No,
got
not
fixed.
anymore. That got fixed. Yeah.